Right. Hello, everybody. I am happy to welcome you for this third webinar session. Just a few seconds before everybody can connect to this webinar. I can after the registration. As mentioned, and once again, for all of you who have already participated to the former webinars we have done, feel free to ask all of your questions in the chat, and Laurent, my colleague in charge of it, who is with me today for this webinar, will be very happy to welcome you. So welcome to this webinar. Thanks for participating. I hope you'll enjoy and you will learn much more about FDI and who we are. And as you know, the webinar of today will be dedicated to as a security protocol and the encrypted solution we are proposing at FDI while you are installing our access control system. So I'm just gonna share with you the presentation I will use. So just give me a few seconds and I will share the presentation I will use for today's webinar. So yes, you know, I know some of you have already participated to the webinar. So maybe you can see here in front of you as a presentation. And just hang on a second. I'm not sure if it's full screen on your side. Maybe Laurent can tell me. Yes, now it will be better, I think. So yes, and we'll start first of all with webinar by a small presentation of FDI, especially for some of you who have never heard about FDI and who we are. FDI is an access control company. So the company has been founded in 1989, and since this date we are developing access control system for any kind of market segment. So here you can see the success story of FDI. I mean, of what is the let's say the origin of the company and what it is now in 2020. Sorry, just want to be younger as I am. So as mentioned, the company has been founded in 1989, and since 2000 we belong to the Hermet Group. And FDI is composed of 100 full-time employees. And once again, what is really important to know for you is that in those 100 people, 40% of the staff is composed of R&D. And the R&D and FDI means designing the hardware used for the access control system. The second department is the embedded software used inside the hardware for managing the access control. And then the third department of the R&D is the software. So it's the software who the manager will have in front of him to manage his access control system. So of course, FDI, since the origin of the company, is mainly focused on access control system, but due to our strong knowledge and know-how in this business, and since we belong to the Hermet Group, we are also designing and selling intercom system. So it's not only access control, even if it's our core business, but it's also a door entry panel. And because of our know-how and all the development we have made regarding RFID system, we are also able to propose an OEM solution for companies who want to develop their own product related with RFID. We are not only able to propose the development, but also due to our integrated production to develop but industrialize also at the same place as the product developed. And since the company has been founded, and since we have developed many different features and different access control system, we now have a worldwide network of partners, distributors, installers, and system integrators. And those partners are nearly everywhere all around the world. Sorry. Even if our core market remains Europe, we are also promoting our solution in Russia, Northern Africa, and we've seen that we have strong growth in Southeast Asia and Australia. And the thing really important to know is that because we are an R&D team only dedicated to the export market, even if we are a French company with a head office in France, we are always trying to develop the best product for each market. So this organization, this strong investment in the export countries allow us and give us the possibility to grow a lot, especially in Southeast Asia and Australia, where the requirements are really, really specific. And it's not only R&D team dedicated to the export country, it's also a technical support, so English spoken technical support, which is able to first of all train our partner on how to use and on which project our product are targeted, but it's also provide all the technical support needed after the product is installing. And all this organization is based on 3 different segments of products. And the first segment, it's on your left-hand side of your screen, is standalone system. And in standalone system, of course, we have K-PAD, even wireless K-PAD. We have another product called Transit Plus. Transit Plus, the big advantage is that you can manage all of your access control system keys and everything using an app on your smartphone. It means that you don't have to go directly on the controller to manage your access control, so it could be really useful. And the other product, which is EasyDoor Controller, is based on a virtual network. And this virtual network, it means that you connect to a free web software, you get all of your sites, you enter the serial number of the controller. Keep in mind that in EasyDoor Controller, we offer also the possibility to manage car park. And so you manage all your site using a free web software online. And then you program a key, and the key will update the controller's memory directly on site. So you don't need any IP network. You just need to connect to that free web software, and then you manage your access control without any IP and IT environments. And the last product segment we have is iPassan. So iPassan, we mentioned that also in the previous webinars, that it's an online with full option system. Just to remind you that all of this solution, we'll do our last summer session of webinars next week, and we will go deeper in the residential project and on how to use those products for your residential projects. But today's webinar will be dedicated to on how FDI product and FDI is dealing with encrypted solution. So let's showing you the context of today's webinar. When we are talking about encrypted protocols, it's first of all for the hardware communication. So not only the hardware between them, I mean the controllers between them, but also the encrypted protocol when the controllers are connected to the server. The second part of today's webinar will be also dedicated on the security regarding the credentials. So credential is the thing which is used by a resident or an employee to enter the premises. So you will see in the second part of this webinar how FDI is dealing with security about the credential. And the last part will be a focus on our 2 smart bus. So it's a bus made by FDI to have the most powerful system with the last standard of encrypted solution. So just to describe what we'll be talking today, in front of you, you'll see how is an access control system on site. So I use an iPassan controller, but it could be also other FDI system. But in that environment, you have controllers, a network of controllers, and this network of controllers is either using the cloud system to manage the access control, or it could be also on the local network. And then you have readers connected to those controllers. So the readers will be used to enter, for the user to enter the premises. And then you have the credentials. So the first part of the webinar, I will show you on how FDI is dealing with the security protocol between the different hardwares. Then the second part of this webinar will be, the third part of this webinar will be how FDI is dealing with the security between the readers and the controller with the 2 smart bus I just mentioned before. And also we'll see another part which will be dedicated to the reading technology used to access your building. So let's start by defining what does encryption mean. So, you know, we have a booming of IoT system and connected devices everywhere. And as an access control company, we want to, when you use our system, to give the last standard of the technology. So the encryption is a process used to encode the information transmitted between the different hardwares of an access control system, in our case. And this encryption is made to protect the data exchange between the different hardware. So as just mentioned before, the hardware could be the different controllers themselves, could be the communication between the controllers and the readers, but also the protocol used for the reading technology to enter a building. And of course, and as just mentioned, because of the booming of IoT devices, it's mainly useful, and sometimes encryption means secure the communication for online access control system. But you should know that at FDI, because we propose 7 kind of communication process, it put mainly useful for online access control system, but it's not only when it's online that it's encrypted. That's a very important thing to understand when we are talking about FDI system. So let's talk about the hardware, the access control system. I mean the network of controllers. And just to focus on iPassan, it could be also adapted to some other devices. But when we are talking about iPassan, and it's just what I mentioned before, in that we have a secure communication, first of all, between the server and the controller. So we have done specific encrypted tools using the AES encryption. For instance, we'll see a bit later in the webinar how we deal when we are talking with AES encryption. We'll define also what is AES encryption for us. So you have first of all an encrypted and a secure protocol between the server and the controller. For instance, it's always the controller who is looking for the server. So it means that nobody can access your access control network using the cloud to enter your premises, and you can also manage different port and everything. But it's also the communication between the hardware. So it's a secure communication when your access control is all in IP. Just remind you that in iPassan we offer the possibility to manage your access your controllers all in IP or all in RS-485, or you can also have a mix of both, and it can be really adapted for all of your project. So the secure communication between the IP controllers using the last encrypted solution, but it's also a secure communication when you use communication between the controllers in RS-485 bus. But it's an encrypted solution regarding our RS-485 bus. It's not as RS-485. It's a standard regarding the communication between the hardware, but in FDI, it's our own protocol and our own security thing, which is always really, really high in comparison with the other system you might find on the market. So also because the security, it's also depending on the site where the controllers and the system is installed. So because at FDI and when you use iPassan, we want to adapt the security and to optimize with the best level of security for each site. You have the possibility to choose directly in the software the level of security you like. And this level means the communication between the hardwares and the server. So the first possibility offered in iPassan that you choose a simple encryption. Simple encryption, I mean, you can see the bytes exchange between the different hardware, but only if you have the documentation. I mean, only if you have an FDI engineer that you can see that this frame is sent to do this function. So it's a simple, and then you are able to change it to have it an advanced FDI encryption. So it's our proprietary protocol and our proprietary process, which is not able to be decrypted by anyone. So this is the second possibility, and the last possibility offer into iPassan Manager is that's the standard encryption, which is AES 128 bits encryption, and it's the standard for the encrypted for worldwide. It's a worldwide standard for the encrypted solution, and then by choosing that, you have the optimized encryption for your access control system. So once again, we are an access control company, and that's what also I mentioned at the beginning. We want to adapt our product to any kind of project, any kind of market. So then by using our solution, you have the possibility to choose the level of security you like for your installation. So we mentioned the last point, the AES encryption. I just want to give you, I'm sure some of you know already what AES encryption means, but just do a little bit of history, let's say. And AES encryption, it's mean first of all the Advanced Encryption Standard. So this is what AES means, and it's a specification for the encryption of electronic devices. I mentioned at the beginning, the booming on IoT, on connected devices for any kind of features at the moment. And so since 2000, and some R&D guys and electronic engineers have developed this encryption, and this encryption has becoming the worldwide standard. So first of all, it has been managed, it has been used and promoted by the US government, but also, and it's also something you should know that FDI is investing a lot in security system, and it's also investing in having a system which is where you have the answer for the basic of security done by the French National Security Agency. And all of this standard has been done for AES encryption. And as an access control company and as a company dealing with connected devices, we want to follow this worldwide standard to offer you the best encrypted solution for your project. So the second part of this webinar will be regarding the reading technology proposed by FDI. When you are using an access control system, it's first of all to secure your building. And we've seen that in some project, and every time the technology is changing, so we should adapt ourselves to this new evolution of the market. But the first thing to protect the security and to protect your building is to use the adapting reading technology. And FDI, we propose our most common technology used. First of all, MyFair Classic. So I know sometimes MyFair Classic has been existing for a while, and sometimes it's not enough. And for that reason, on our common range, we also propose MyFair Plus. And we were just talking about the AES encryption, and by using MyFair Plus, you have the opportunity to have this AES 128 bits encryption. You should know, and that's also the next part of our webinar, that the encryption is working only using our readers. So it means that it's only the couple credential reader which make your installation secure and encrypted. But as an access control company, and because once again we want to offer the best user experience and offer the highest level of security, and as a manufacturer we can adapt our credential according to your project requirement. I mean, if on one project, on one system, you need a different kind of reading technology, such as MyFair Desfire or any kind of other technology, as a manufacturer, we can provide you and adapt our offer to the project you'll do. So that brings me to, let's say, have an overview of our range, and also as an access control company, and because FDI wants to answer all of your requirements. You should know that all of our access control system use the same protocol, the same reading technology, and everything I've just showing you is that whatever you choose, which is MyFair or MyFair Plus, it's available with any kind of access control system proposed by FDI. So I just did a small focus on the iPassan system, but you should know that MyFair Plus is also available for Transit Plus and EasyDoor controller. So it means also for you a cost-efficient system, because you only have a single range of reader on stock. So using FDI and using any kind of access control solution, you can just keep the same readers and the same controller. So it's also really easy for an upgrade of your site. And with the mix of two smart readers and FDI controller, you have the highest level of security. And this is one of the main purpose of today's webinar. And if there is only one thing I want you to understand, is that it's our two smart protocol, which is something developed by FDI, respecting with an encrypted solution. So for the access control system and the universal protocol used for access control is Wiegand. And we've seen that, and we know, we are aware about that since a while, but because it's a universal standard, we're also, we have to propose this kind of technology, but there's a potential security breach when you're using this standard installation using Wiegand protocol, as you have a big security problem, and you might have a big security issue because the communication between the controller and the readers, it's not what we call smart at FDI, so it's only one way. It's just the reader which is sending a serial number, so you might have a potential issue regarding security, as if you just type the same serial number, then you can open the door. It's not what we are looking for when we are talking about the security of your installation. You have a big vulnerability in the communication between the reader and the controller. And for instance, because the security of today is not the security of tomorrow, using a Wiegand protocol doesn't give you the possibility to make any firmware upgrade. So it means because the technology is changing every day, and as a manufacturer, we want to follow this changing and to answer the demand, offering the last standard of security. Using Wiegand readers, you don't have the possibility to upgrade the reader's firmware in case you see one day that there is a security breach inside your system. So that brings me to our readers range by FDI. So of course, as Wiegand is a universal protocol, we are proposing Wiegand readers, but today, and to introduce you how we deal with security in our company, I just want to show you this new range which has been designed with more functionality. So just a small thing regarding the project. So it's IK10 IP65, sorry, and you can read any kind of credential, MyFair Classic, we're just talking about, but even Bluetooth. I hope you had the possibility to see our webinar dedicated to our Bluetooth solution. And those range of reader, even if they are existing using a Wiegand or RS485 bus, those readers with the same design, you have the possibility, we offer you the last standard of technology using our two-smart communication. So our two-smart communication, what does it mean? So it's only two wires between the readers and the controller, and all the communication, which is bidirectional, between the readers and the controller, it's only two wires. So you have a smart communication between those two devices. This is what I mentioned also regarding Wiegand, where you are not able to propose any upgrade of the firmware, of the reader's firmware, using our two smart bus, our two-wire smart communication. You're able one day from remote places, just connected to our software to upgrade the firmware. So it could be that today the technology is the most secure, but maybe not tomorrow, and we offer the possibility to upgrade the firmware reader directly using our access control system. And the advantages of using our two smart bus is that you have full monitoring of the installation. So what is not possible with Wiegand, I mean, with Wiegand using 10 or 15 wires, for instance, with only two wires, you are able to have a full monitoring of the installation, which is also a big security advantage while using our system, that you can see the wiring issues you might have, but also you can see the shortcuts. And always, in order to propose you a bigger advantage in comparison with the other system, is that using our two smart bus offer you an easy and cost-efficient installation. Only two wires between the controllers and the readers, for instance. So yes, let's be focused on the advantages of our two smart bus. Once again, it's bidirectional communication. So for firmware upgrade, it's one of the biggest advantage to switch from one technology to the other, and also to upgrade to be with the last standard of security for your system. You have a full reader monitoring. For instance, I'm taking the example of the iPassan access control directly in the live event. So directly in live, you can be proactive in case you have an issue, that you have a full reader monitoring. And directly using our two smart communication and our two smart bus using two wires, and with that smart communication, you have directly tampering of the readers, and which could be also avoid any kind of shortcuts. So using this monitoring, you're able to see any troubles you might have on your installation. So, and once again, but it's an important thing because we want to propose the last standard of technology with adapted prices, and that's something which makes the difference while you use FDI product, is that you have a cost-efficient installation. I show you the weaknesses using the universal Wiegand protocol, which sometimes can be 10, 15 wires, whatever, depending on the function you're looking for. By using our 2 smart bus, it's only 2 wires between the readers and the controller. So less cabling through the building, less potential issues during the cabling. It's also time efficient. So, I mean, you have less, you decrease installation time, and something, especially at this time when you want to move fast, and especially regarding the installation and the cost of the workforce, sometimes using our 2 smart will offer you a really, really cost efficient installation. But also, and even while we are talking about remote management, in that when you use remote management, you have the possibility to switch from one reading technology to another without changing any hardware on site, without changing any readers on site. So it means today you can say, and especially for an upgrade of an installation, but it could be useful also for a new installation, I want to stay with a standard MyFair credential, but using our 2 smart bus and our 2 smart communication, you are able to upgrade to say, okay, tomorrow I want to switch from MyFair to MyFair Plus because I want a higher level of security, and without changing anything on your site, you are able to do that upgrade using our 2 smart bus and using our software. So it's directly remotely, so without going on site and doing anything. When you use iPassan, you are able to switch from one technology to the other, and on site you don't have to do any more cabling, as the readers, the controllers, and the cabling done on site and the communication chosen don't change. So that's something which could be really, really interesting for you while you use our 2 smart bus and when you use our smart encrypted technology. So yes, just to conclude, so it was really short webinar, so I hope I was not too quick and you managed to understand everything. If you have any question, Laurent is here to answer all of your questions. But I want to conclude with that. It's, we have a booming of connected devices, of IoT devices, and in that case, it's really important to have the last standard of technology using FDI. And using our solution, you have all the advantages of the last standard of security. And that's something we mentioned at the beginning, but we always investing to have certification regarding the worldwide standard. And you should be aware that in France, we have something called the ANSSI, so it's the National Security Agency, and we are investing to have those certification, because we are working in that. It's not only dedicated to one product, but we are using this standard as well to propose the highest security technology for all of our access control system. So thank you very much. Just a small communication regarding our webinar summer session, let's say. So the last one will take place next week and will be dedicated to our solution for your residential building. So you will be able to see everything we offer when you want to manage access control on residential building. And yes, that's something really important for you, and I invite you to participate to this webinar, last summer webinar session. Well, thank you very much. I hope we have answered all of your questions. I just give you a few more minutes to answer all of your questions. Just checking in the same time with Laurent if he has some question. Right, because we just have, let's say, 1 minute remaining. I see that I was maybe not clear in my presentation, but some of you was wondering how we deal with security regarding our software, iPassan.com, using the cloud. So first of all, I want to mention that FDI has been one of the first company in France using this cloud solution, and just wanted to mention to you that for iPassan, it's more or less, and for our not only for iPassan, but for our access control system. It's in total more than 3,000 customers using our system. It's 1 million keys, and it's about 2 million apartments. So we have, I mean, that's a proof that for about more than 20 years now, we have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And we have always a consultant company, so outsource company, who are coming here to, let's say, to hack our system and to check what is our security and how we deal with security, and if what we are saying are corresponding to what we are offering. So we are also outsource company who are coming to check our security. So yeah, maybe any more question, Laurent? So yes. Oh yes, to switch from one technology to the other. For instance, using MyFair and Desfire and so on. That's what I mentioned, but it was a question. Maybe I was not clear. You can update the firmware if required. So you don't have to do this update while you want to switch from MyFair to MyFair Plus, as it's already included in our standard product. And you can provide MyFair Plus, for instance, first of all to the tenants, and you can switch from MyFair to MyFair Plus step by step while you are using while you have installed the iPassan system. So maybe some question. I'm just hearing Laurent typing on his on his computer, so I just give you a few more minutes to answer all of your questions. And please, once again, if you have special requirements for your access control company, do not hesitate to contact us, and we will be happy to answer any kind of your project. So thank you very much. I hope to see you again for our next webinar next week, and I wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening, depending from where you are. Thank you very much all, and see you soon.